Hello! This video is going to be a bit different from the norm. It's neither a product review, a tutorial or anything else I've done similar in the past. This video is going to highlight a company called Monport, which produces laser cutters and what in my opinion are some pretty questionable business practices. But I think Monport are far from unique in this situation, so consider it a bit of advice about the sadly very necessary level of due diligence you need to now do before buying something. A few months ago, when I was on holiday in the US, I met up with a fellow FPV pilot who was also into 3D printing and was collaborating in some making with his buddy who had gone ahead and bought the Monport Mega 70-watt CO2 laser. If we look at the webpage, you see this isn't a cheap laser printer by any means, but for the features it claims to have, it looks pretty good. One of its key features is the autofocus, so instead of having to set the laser height to get the perfect beam focus on your material, it would work this out for itself and move the laser up or down. This means that you'd be able to grave on something like a curved surface without any special hardware. It also has a smart batch fill, so you can just chuck in a bunch of similar shaped items and it'll recognise where they are in the cutter and do the same engraving on each one. So obviously it has a camera on board so you can easily see to line things up. It also has air assist built in, and if you look at the flashy videos that they show, it just looks brilliant, doesn't it? Importantly, the user in question has a MacBook. Good man, I'm a Mac fan, why wouldn't you? Now Monport uses its own software in order to use all their special features called M-Design Hub, but doesn't seem to be a problem, does it? Look, it provides a Windows version and a Mac version for both Intel and Apple-based chips. And just to reinforce this, it's in the FAQ. Can this work with Safari? I just want to be certain that the software will work with a MacBook. You'll need to use professional engraving software when operating this machine. Our machine comes with M-Design Hub software. Yes, you can download M-Design Hub on your mobile phone or computer to operate the machine. And the M-Design Hub software is compatible with a MacBook. Well, there you go. Does all the amazing things and works with a MacBook. It seems to tick all the boxes, so was ordered and duly received. The immediate issue when the machine was unpacked was a piece of paper that was found with red lettering on it which says does not necessarily work with Macs. What? That's weird, isn't it? You just had 2 Mac software downloads in your site and you said it did work in the FAQs. But this wasn't some last minute note. If you look in the official manual, you say that you should prepare a Windows PC because of the compatibility issues on a Mac. Why wasn't it on the website? Now some people might call that a deceptive practice. You seem to be selling on the basis that it absolutely works for a Mac, and then after the customers have paid their money you say, oh no, it doesn't work with a Mac. I mean, what the fuck? First off, how have you got this complete lie on your website? And if it's your software that you're developing, then why haven't you simply fixed it as a priority item so it does work on a Mac? If you do have a Mac, you can use the laser using a Lightburn, and Lightburn costs money, but you lose all these clever features like the autofocus and a batch fill because that's in the special software. Multiple users have also noticed that the air assist supplies is not up to the job. Generally you will have an air pump that blows air where the laser is cutting. This will remove these small particles that are released with the smoke when something is cut, and without the air assist the cut won't be as clean as these little particles are getting in the way, and these particles can end up on the laser lens which can cause the lens to get damaged. In the worst case scenario, things just burst into flames. Guess what? My friend that bought it has already had to replace a lens, and like many other customers have ended up having to purchase a more powerful air pump so the air assist actually works as it should. Now that's not to say that there's a lot of people the laser cutter is working for, but the big issue here is more the fact about who you can turn to if your very expensive product is not working. Again, I'm a little suspicious of Monport's website. If we look at their FAQs, Monport states that it has headquarters in Seattle and a warehouse in California. When I looked up Monport in Google Maps, it came back with an address showing impressive pictures of the Monport teams in a warehouse. And when I looked at Google Street Map in order to have a look at its headquarters, I was a little bit surprised to find it was in fact a residential condo building. That aside, there's a smiling man with a really impressive looking beard on their tech support site. They have a few numbers here which you'd imagine might go through to their head office in Seattle, but both the 332 and 917 area codes are for somewhere in New York City, I think. What the issue for many users is, when they try and seek help, they don't seem to be able to get through. no replies to the live help, and always just an answer phone message on the 2 numbers. If we take a look at the Monport user group on Facebook, you notice which is currently paused, so nobody can create or reply to posts. Is that because there's many people leaving negative stuff and they don't like that? There's many frustrated people in this group that are unhappy about not being able to get through, mentioning that the replies only come in between 3 AM and 6 AM, and they are sent endless videos of the issue, with people even having serious issues trying to return their laser cutters that were damaged in transit. In the case of my friends, at one point they were promised a $1,200 refund which never materialised, and then the company stopped replying at all to their many requests for where is this. Again, some people get service, albeit slowly, and had replacement parts shipped out so they could fix the issues. It's not 100% bad, but it certainly feels worse than the website, which only has 5-star reviews. I find this a bit weird as well, as if you look on Better Business Bureau for Seattle, there are 42 customer complaints against Monport Laser, and they are in the main because things don't work out of the box and they were unable to get the situation resolved with Monport, along with the many complaints on the user group in Facebook. So aside from the fact that Monport has clearly put some incorrect statements about Mac support on their website, there seems to be a suggestion from many in the community that they don't have a proper US headquarters in Seattle, or indeed a warehouse in California. The suggestions, again from the community, is that they are trying to give the impression of a US support service while actually just taking messages and replying from China. There's nothing wrong about having support that's based in China, of course. The vast majority of products I deal with in FPV are made and supported in China. The problem with Monport is it's represented as a US support line, but doesn't seem to be. Obviously, I had a lot of unanswered questions here, and I attempted to get some answered. I emailed all of the information I've been telling you to Monport on multiple occasions, on multiple email addresses, over a period of several weeks, but I've still got no replies. I'd still be more than happy to hear from them, and they should feel free to reply and put me right on anything that I might have got wrong. So right now, personally, looking at the build quality and the inaccuracies of their website, coupled with the very limited support, I would have to say avoid Monport like the plague. But this isn't just about Monport, it's about needing to go above and beyond your normal due diligence. Of course, if you're just buying something like a new flight controller for $50, it's not so much of a big deal if it doesn't perform. But when you are spending big money, multiple $1,000s on something like a laser cutter, 3D printer, CNC router, all the big and expensive things, take a few days and actively look for issues people have had. Now, to be fair, the best company in the world will still expect a certain percentage of failures. So it's not so much about finding people that had something that was shipped, broken, or went wrong. It's about how the company responded. You're looking for a fast and complete resolution. If there's a large number of failures, then that should be avoided. If support seems difficult to get, avoid it. It's just not worth the hassle. Even if you're confident you can get your money back via some legal means, think about how much of your precious time and effort this will cost you. Sometimes it's worth paying more for a company's good reputation. And if someone is brand new on the market and is unknown, take a step back and wait to see what happens to all these early adopters before you jump in with your own money. That is the entirety of Kickstarter, by the way. You've got absolutely nothing there except a flashy video which claims to do everything. I hate to see people get ripped off with their hard-earned money, so be careful out there. I hope that's been helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.